Let's join Jodie now for our studio interview.
Kia ora, Scotty. Joining me today in studio is Attorney General and Treaty Negotiations Minister Chris Finlayson. Thank you very much for coming.
Pleasure.
Let's start with the Māori landscape that's happening in the far north. There have been arrests and pledges for more civil disobedience at Taipa in the far north. Does the fact that you said they can go to hell indicate a level of frustration for you?
Yes, frustration for the iwi, because a lot of work has been done up in the Muri Whenua region. I'm very conscious that Matt Rata started the claim for the Muri Whenua region in 1986. They were waiting on their report for many years. The report came in. They were waiting for action from the government, and they got none under the previous government. We signed an agreement in principle at Ahipara on 15 January. Everyone's been working hard. There are ways of dealing with issues, and this is not one of them. And so everyone loses because of this kind of behaviour. The iwi involved, and also the general community. People aren't able to go boating. I had a call from the lady who runs the Taipa Lodge. Buses were turned away. She's going to lose business because Fullers aren't all that keen on sending buses up there anymore. So it's a lose-lose situation.
Your government has encouraged iwi to settle in natural groupings. Muri Whenua, there are 5 iwi. Yeah. If one of them looks like it's about to derail the treaty settlement process, does it mean it's all over for the other iwi?
Absolutely not. No one is going to derail a just and durable settlement for Ngāi Takato, Te Apori, Ngāti Kuri and Te Rarawa. Their representatives, their mandated representatives, have worked too long and too hard for that to happen.
So you were obviously frustrated by that. You called them stupid. Is that appropriate behaviour?
I think I did not call them stupid. I called their actions stupid, and they were stupid.
Really? You stand by that comment?
The actions are inappropriate. They are frankly stupid.
So what's next for Ngāti Kahu?
Well, what I hope is that everyone will take a deep breath. They'll recognise that illegal occupation of private land and council land is not the way about doing things. If they want to talk to me, they talk through their mandated representatives, and we talk about the issues in an appropriate manner.
Why would you not consider actually going to Taipa to speak to the people who've been protesting there?
Why should I? Because I think that you're just condoning bad behaviour or buying into their particular dialogue. As I say, Ngāti Kahu have mandated representatives. I'm more than happy to talk to them, as indeed I've been doing throughout the year.
Activists that I've talked to this week have said some fairly harsh things about you. How do you explain to Māori that you actually have their interests at heart?
Oh, well, I have their interests at heart because I've been a very activist minister in charge of treaty negotiations. I am determined to honour the memory of Matt Rata, who works so hard in that region, and get good settlements. And it's not just me, it's the Prime Minister. The Minister of Finance has been fantastic in terms of the support he's given me. Peter Sharples has been, Tariana Turia has been. Everyone wants a good settlement. Everyone realises that a good settlement up there is going to unlock a lot of potential.
How unhelpful is it to have Tariana Turia say she doesn't fully understand the new legislation around the new Takutai Moana bill?
Oh, well, there are a lot of technical bits and pieces to it, but the key aspects of it she understands very well because of her courageous stand in 2003. She understands the importance of access to justice for applicant groups, and she also understands the importance of property rights, albeit unvestigated customary property rights. So the essentials are pretty well understood by most people.
Coastal Coalition Group, what do you make of them? Are they helpful to this discussion?
I don't know whether they're composed of cranks or whether they're malevolent. I understand that there are a group of them who believe that the Vikings or the Celts were here first. But
seriously?
Seriously.
Where did you hear that from?
From very good sources, and politicians, like journalists, don't necessarily disclose their sources. But what really annoys me about them is that their campaign is as misleading as it is vicious. And they haven't, for example, read the Court of Appeal's decision in Ngāti Apa. Had they read it, they would have seen that it was a perfectly orthodox decision saying that Maori could go to court to investigate whether or not there was customary title. It didn't say there was customary title, but it said that, contrary to what people believed, it hadn't necessarily been extinguished and people could go to court. Now, the previous government legislated over the top of that and took away fundamental rights of a significant section of New Zealanders to have access to justice. And I would have thought that people in the Coastal Coalition would recognise that everyone's entitled to access to justice in this country and everyone's entitled to property rights.
You have recently just come back from Geneva. Why 262? What good news is there for Māori in that? Oh,
there are some very interesting international developments, and I'm looking forward to the Y262 report coming out. There are issues about protection of traditional knowledge, protection of folklore, protection of things like the haka. I've been negotiating with Ngāti Toa over some of these issues as we head toward a settlement with them. There are a lot of international developments looking at these issues, and I think it's all very interesting. And one of the things you learn about these sorts of things is that we're not the only people on earth dealing with these issues. There's an international community out there that's dealing with a lot of them as well.
The foreshore and seabed issue isn't really going to go away. With the election coming up, do you think it'll be one of the big issues that could potentially divide our nation?
I hope not. I think it's divided it for too long. And what we've tried to do is take a principled stand about access to justice for everyone, one law for all for everyone. And I always remember Tipene O'Regan saying to me about access, one law for all. Fine. Yeah, I believe in that. That includes Maori. And also property rights. You have to respect everyone's property rights. It's not just a question of land or intellectual property. There are these customary property rights that need to be respected. And the signing of the treaty in 1840 did not necessarily extinguish those rights.
You mentioned before that you find certain parts of the treaty process frustrating. How frustrating was it for the Tūhoe decision?
Oh, I don't regard the treaty process as frustrating. I find it fascinating, and it's great to be engaged with people who are working very hard in the interests of their iwi, and the commitment, the selflessness of people never ceases to amaze me and impress me. So I don't find the process frustrating at all. There are times when you get a little bit aggravated by outbursts of inappropriate behaviour, as we've had here. But no, overwhelmingly, I think it is a fantastic process. It has been working well, and it's worth all the effort. Did
you get what you wanted out of the Tūhoe settlements?
We are continuing with discussions with Tūhoe, and that's a journey that both sides are committed to.
The Ngāti Porou settlement coming up, what's that been like for you?
Well, that's a different type of settlement.
Indeed.
It's funny being on the other side of Api Mahuika, because I've known him for years. He's a great New Zealander, utterly committed to his iwi, and he's had a fantastic team around him. I often say about Ngāti Porou that they have many of the lawyers in Māoridom, so negotiations with them can be very lawyerly at times.
Excellent. Thank you very much for coming on to Marae Investigates, Minister.
Pleasure.
Kia ora. Kia ora, Scotty.
Kia ora kōrua.